Emily, I don't know if you have yoga blocks, but I wanted to start in a heart melting pose or supported fish pose. So you can do it with a pillow too, just kind of elevating your chest. I'll show you what it looks like. So with the blocks, you can set them up in like a T shape so that the top block is on the highest height. And this is going to be going along the edge of your spine, at the center of your spine. So let me show you. You can bring your forearms down and slowly lower so that the bottom of the block is kind of right beneath where your bra strap would be. And then you lower down and rest your head on the top block. And yeah, if you have blankets or pillows, then you can put it at, just so it's at like this part. The bottom of it, like this elevation starts beneath your shoulder blades, just so that your heart is higher than the rest of your body. That's the whole point. So your legs can be however they're comfortable. They can be reaching long on your mat, or if it's more comfortable for your back to have the knees bent with the soles of your feet on the ground with a slight tuck in the tailbone, that can be nice too. Or you can always be in butterfly pose with the legs, the soles of your feet finding each other. Whatever is the most comfy for you. Sweet. So right away, when you arrive to a comfortable place, just let out a big exhale. As you exhale, allow your body to melt over your props, over the blocks, over the pillows. Surrender every area of holding within your body. Notice where there are areas of holding. This might exist quite loudly in the mind right now. Notice where your mind is at. Notice any thoughts moving through the head. Notice how your mind feels like it's at compared to where it usually feels like it's at. Are you a little bit more energized than usual, or a bit more tired? Relax your forehead. Relax your eyelids. Allow your jaw to release and hang heavy. As you release the jaw, notice how the cheeks fall and release down the face. Letting the breath be steady. And not having any control over the breath just yet. Noticing how the body's breathing naturally. Notice where your breath is tending to travel to. Is it more in the chest and throat area? More into the lungs? Or is it deeper into the belly? Now, wherever your breath was naturally, deepen that a little bit. Guide your breath deeper into the belly. Feel your breath taking up more space within the body. Feel almost as if every time you inhale, your entire body gets flooded with this breath, all the way to the fingertips and the toes. And every exhale, your body releases that breath. See if you can relax your scalp a little bit more. Feel as if your brain is resting toward the back of the skull. Become aware of your shoulders and collarbones and heart center. Feel this area higher than usual. Feeling the blood flowing from the heart down the torso, into the hips, down the legs. We'll be here for about 5 more breaths. Letting these breaths be slow and full. You can slowly begin to wiggle the fingers and the toes, bringing some movements. Tuck your elbows in closer towards your body. Prop yourself up on them and slowly bring yourself back up to your seat. You can remove those props. And we'll just counter the spine real quick. So you can bend the legs and just fold just to get a nice counter. And release the head fully. Feel your spine making the opposite shape that we just made. And let's do some cat-cows. So we know the practice of yin is seated cat-cow, sorry. You know the practice of yin is really slow. So I'll do our best to have a little bit more movements in between the poses. So you can inhale, lift your heart, lift the chin away from the sternum. And as you exhale, tuck the chin down, tuck the tailbone down and the pubic bone up. Inhale, come forward. And as you come forward and lift your chin away from the sternum and draw the shoulder blades down, also tip your pelvis down and away. So feel like your pubic bone's coming away from your navel. Doesn't matter how you're sitting. It's this arch here. And then you can exhale and curl. Your pubic bone tucks up toward both of your hip points. Do 2 more like that. Still staying with the breath slow and steady, still staying with this gentle movement. Awesome. And then when you're done, you can come back up to center and turn on your mat the long way. And we'll come into our Dragonfly Pose, our wide leg forward fold. So you can bring your feet to either corner of your mat, as far as they go. And yeah, if you don't naturally hinge forward at the hips, then you can elevate your hips slightly with a pillow or a blanket, whatever you got. And relax the feet, relax the legs completely. This is a very passive pose. And over time, just allow yourself to come forward. Allow gravity to start to take over. You can rest your hands on blocks or on the floor, wherever they naturally fall. But when we're practicing a yin yoga practice, we want to come to about 70% of what our total threshold is. We really want to allow the body to naturally unfold. You don't want to force anything. This isn't like a vinyasa practice where we inhale, lengthen, and exhale, fold and hinge. None of that. This is purely a practice of surrender. This is a practice that accesses the deep connective tissue within the joints, between the bones. And you'll notice over time in a pose how your body naturally will come further. It will want to fold further. And the whole practice here is the practice of surrender. It's the practice of releasing. So if you're feeling your legs like they're kind of coming together and resisting this in any way, come to a place where you don't feel that and soften there, and then allow that to just expand and grow further. You can almost feel the bones relaxing away from each other. They're not pulling away. They're just melting, kind of softening away from each other. And that's how we get into the deep connective tissue. The more the bones are supported, the more the muscles can relax. And when the muscles are relaxed, we can access new areas in our body, those deep connective tissues. So we do hold these poses for anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes. And each pose is a new challenge to find that stillness. You'll find that fidgeting is very common if you don't practice this regularly, or tensing, or the need to just move around. And some days you're going to feel more like that than other days. So just notice wherever you are today, and there's no need to judge it whatsoever. You just notice. Nothing's good or bad. There's no need to label. Just observe. It's practicing stepping into that role of the observer in your mind. Observing the things that are happening, the thoughts that are happening. Not controlling. Just allowing. Soften the forehead even more. Soften the jaw, the cheeks, the neck and shoulders. Let's take about 7 more deep exhales here. And then super slowly, when you're finished with your rounds of breath, you can begin to walk your hands very slowly back toward the hips. And to be even kinder to our legs, you can pull them together with your hands. So grab behind the knees, lean back, bend the legs, bring them in together. Maybe give yourself a hug. You can take a few windshield wipers. Bring the hands back behind you and just move the knees side to side. We'll get into the side bodies a little bit deeper. And then we'll do some hip stuff. And that should do it. So when you're ready, you can come just to a easy pose, cross-legged position. And you might want your blocks to start just to be super kind and gentle, but maybe not. And we're just going to do side body stretches, but in a yin way. So you can bring your left hand or the block beside your left hip. You can rest your forearm on the block like this if you're using that. And then you'll bring your right hand up and over your head. You can rest the elbow here. If this doesn't feel comfortable, you can also try holding the back of your neck and kind of gazing up toward the armpit. You can try reaching the hand just behind your back if this is better. Whatever feels the best for your arm and your body. And we'll be here for 3 minutes. We set a timer. And allow yourself to come down naturally. So as soon as you start to not really feel this level you're at anymore, you can lower the block or you can move the block to the side. But wherever you are, make sure that both of your hips are staying grounded. So if you're leaning over and your right hip starts to pop off, just come back to a point where both of your hips are firm on the mat. Staying with your steady breath. Letting the eyes be soft and still. The eyes can still be open and can still be still. Just finding one focal point. Now relax your left shoulder away from the ear. Relax your right shoulder to a neutral place. And gently tuck the bottom of your ribs back under, if they're popping open at all. Feel the space from your right hip through the side body, the bottom of the ribs, the armpit, and the elbow. Relax the neck a little bit more. Relax the jaw and the forehead. Take about 5 more breaths. And then to slowly come out of this, you can release your right arm and reach that away from you and just feel this stretch for a moment. Feel that from the right fingertips through the right ear. And then allow the weight of your right arm reaching to slowly bring you back up, pushing into the left hand as well. You can push the head back up. Whew. And then just feel the difference for a moment. And then we can move on to the other side when you're ready. So if you started on the block or on any sort of prop, you can start on this side too. We'll be here for 3 minutes again. And you can reach the left arm up whenever you're ready, over the head, resting. And you can notice right away if one side's going to feel a lot different than the other. Most likely will. You can notice if you need that prop or if maybe you can come to a lower height or to the floor. And allow your body to just rest in this position as much as possible. So staying in this shape with your body, and then feeling gravity work around you. Feeling gravity bring you deeper into this shape. Allowing gravity to bring you deeper. Letting go of every area of holding in the body. Letting the breath be steady. Focusing a bit more on your exhales, making sure that you're exhaling fully. Sometimes in these poses, we try to inhale a little bit too soon. Just to encourage this release throughout the body. Focus more on your releasing of the breath. About 1 more minute here. About 5 more breaths. And then very slowly, you can start to reach your left arm away from you. Get this nice stretch from the left fingertips through the left ear. And then gently push into the right hand and reach with the left, bringing yourself back up to center. Slowly and pausing when you arrive. You can let the eyes close and just observe. Let's roll out the neck a little bit. So you can take some small circles, maybe starting small and then gradually getting bigger with the chin. You can really focus on the chin. That can be helpful here. There's a few different ways to roll out the neck. So you can focus on drawing circles with your chin, coming to each shoulder, down to the chest, up and away. And you can also focus on the ears. So you can let the ear come to the right shoulder, roll the head back, ear comes to the left shoulder, roll the head down. And then switch directions. So you can draw circles with your chin going the other way, or just do whatever you did on the other side. Cool. When you're feeling good, you can bring your head back to center. And you can come into your tabletop position. You can roll onto hands and knees. Just be here briefly for transition. So when you're ready, you can bring your left knee behind the left wrist and the left foot comes in front of your right thigh or in line with that right hip. We're going to come into our pigeon pose or sleeping swan, as it's called in yin. And just make sure that your back foot is in line with your hip. And your right hip might be super lifted. That's totally okay if it doesn't bother you. If you do want some extra cushion, you can slide something under there. And then as we fold forward, we want to make sure that we keep the length in the spine. So walk your hands forward first. So keep that length and then come down onto the forearms or onto your bolster or whatever. And if this pose feels awful for any reason and you hate it, then you can do a reclined pigeon, where you come onto your back and you cross your left ankle over the right thigh, and you hug that thigh into you, and you pull the ankle towards you, push the knee away from you. Got options. So we'll be here for another 3 minutes. Getting nice into the outer edge of the left hip here, sorry. Relax the jaw. Relax the neck, the forehead. Relax the ears. See if you can bring all of your attention to wherever you're feeling this the loudest in your body. If you're feeling this the loudest in the left hip, bring all of your attention there. Each time that you exhale, feel this area get softer and expand bigger. Like a pool of water. Spreading, releasing. Noticing how your torso is just resting even closer to the ground, even closer to your leg. Sometimes in yin practice, we can either have a very easy time surrendering and accepting these positions, and other times, some days, we have a little bit more resistance toward the practice and the postures. Wherever you are right now, just notice where you are. And look at this resistance as an opportunity, as room for growth, room for expansion. We all have resistance in our bodies at all times. And sometimes noticing where the resistance is can be a really big clue for some aspect of our life. And take about 5 more breaths here. And then super slowly and gently begin to come back onto the hands. Walk the hands back toward your seat. And let's just roll all your weight onto your left hip. So you're coming to a seat facing the long edge of your mat, and your knees come up to center. And just windshield wiper the legs. Maybe resting a bit more on this first side. Cool. When you're ready, you can come back into your tabletop and we will switch sides. You can shake out that leg a little more if you want to. And when you're ready, you can bring your right knee behind the right wrist and the foot comes off to the left. Walking the left toes back. And just making sure this foot stays in line with the hip. And yeah, resting whenever you're ready. Noticing how this side feels. The right side of our body is our yang energy, the masculine giving side of the body. And the left side is our feminine yin receiving, cooler energy side of the body. And sometimes if we have a more active lifestyle or active habits, we can have a much stronger right side. And sometimes if we're have a bit more passive lifestyle, more laid back maybe, we can have a stronger left side. It's very common for females in general to have a stronger or looser left side. Just notice where you're at. Let yourself be where you are. You can envision your breath traveling in and out of your right hip. Your inhale is traveling, energizing this area. And your exhales releasing and softening this area. And this visualization can be as simple as thinking about this body part as you inhale and thinking about it as you exhale. Imagining what it looks like inside and outside. Imagining the shape the bones are in. Imagining the blood running through your legs, your arms, your body. And take about 5 more breaths here. And very slowly, as you feel ready to do so, you begin to come onto the hands. Roll the weight into your right hip. And you can swing your left leg around in front. Maybe take a few windshield wipers slowly. Oh, yeah. And let's do one more hip thing. Then we'll do torso twists. Then we'll be done, promise. Okay. So let's do shoelace. So what you can do is Okay, so we'll come into the first version of it first. So you can extend your right leg forward and then bend your left leg over the right and bring like the top side of your left foot to the ground and start to walk it away from you so that your left knee comes on top of your right knee. So this is the first version of this pose. You can stay here. You feel like a weird stretch in this inner part of your left hip. You can fold, feel this deeper in the right hamstring. This can be it. If you want to come to the fuller expression, you can bend your bottom leg as well to mirror your top leg. So your knees are stacked on top of each other. The feet can be pulled in tighter to the hips. This is a little bit easier. If you want something more challenging, ow, barely do this. You bring the feet more in line with the knees coming forward. I'm gonna bring them in a bit. And we'll be here, yeah, just like 2.5, 3 minutes on either side. So this can be super weird and uncomfortable pose. I can show you from the side too. You can sit up straight for as long as you want. You can, if you're feeling it intensely here, you can stay here. If over the next 1.5, 2 minutes, you start to feel like you want to come deeper, you can just curl up the spine. You can walk the hands forward. You can even rest the hands on the knees. You can make a fist, rest your head on the fist like this. Whatever you want, really. But whatever you're doing, make sure you're breathing super deeply into your hips. And notice all of that natural resistance in this pose. There's a lot of energy being used to pull the muscles together. Just saying, no, we don't want to stretch. But just bring your attention there when you're breathing. Bring some curiosity there. Don't try to force anything to happen. This question, why is there so much resistance here? A lot of our deepest and sometimes most intense emotions are stored in this area in our hips. So it's very common to meet a fair amount of resistance when stretching this area. It's also very common for there to be big releases here. So don't be surprised if you need to cry or shake or laugh or anything like that happens during or after this class. And notice if any strange thoughts come up, anything trying to grab your attention. And just make note of what you need to return to later, not focusing on those things now. Still treating the thoughts as passerbys. Each thought like a car on the highway. You don't jump on the car and ride with it. You just let the thought come, let it go. Let the car come, let it go. Notice the color, the shape, the make. But just let it go. Take 3 more breaths. Relaxing the forehead, the jaw, the neck, and shoulders. 2 more breaths. One more. And then very slowly as we came in, come out. Bringing the hands back towards your body. We will gently lean back so you can bring your hands behind you and just uncross the legs so slowly. Ouch. Okay, you can windshield wiper or do whatever your body needs to do. Definitely move slowly. We'll do the other side when you're ready. So you can straighten your left leg now and cross your right leg over that so that your right knee is stacking on top of the left and that foot comes off to the side. And then again, total option to stay here if you did this on the other side. And just coming into whatever version of this you were on the other side. I'll be here for another 3 minutes. It can be really helpful to take audible exhales too. When we can hear our body exhaling, it kind of communicates to the rest of our body that we're relaxing. Yawning's even better. Letting out a big yawn, communicating, we are relaxing now. And again, just noticing how this side is compared to the other. Surrendering in the shoulders, in the jaw, and the forehead. And sometimes if we're feeling very intense discomfort in a pose, our mind can want to do everything but focus on that. It can distract us, it can make us fidget or look anywhere else in the body besides the place that needs the most attention. So notice if like your hands are starting to move or your fists are starting to clench, or maybe your tongue is pressing to the roof of your mouth, or your teeth are clenching, or your neck. These things are just taking away from the pose. So the more we can soften everything that's outside of the focus, then we can soften what the focus is. So we can soften the feet first, the hands first, the forehead, the jaw, the neck and shoulders. Soften everything that's not being concentrated on. Soften the belly. And then we can look at the hips. Now let's soften the hips. As we exhale, picture this area softening. Picture it surrendering, spreading, dispersing. We'll be here for 5 more breaths. So slowly begin to come up. You can slowly walk the hands to you, walk it behind you. Oh, unwind the legs, reach them long, shake them out. Cool. All right, let's just do torso twists either side and then Shavasana. So when you're ready, you can slowly lower to lay on your back. Let yourself get settled on your back. Feel everything release. When you're ready, you can shift your hips over to the left side of your mat. Extend your right leg long, and then cross your left leg over your body. You can bring your arms out to a T shape and turn your gaze over your left fingertips. And twisting, wringing out the spine. We'll be here a little over 2 minutes, I think. Yeah, you can get comfy. Just feeling that space from the outside of your left knee through the left shoulder and the left fingertips. Let your belly soften. Let your inhales come in and out of your stomach. Each time you exhale, you can gently pull the navel toward the spine a little bit more and find a little bit more space to twist. I'm going to read this poem now. It's called Wild Geese by Mary Oliver. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things. And take about 5 more breaths on this side. And when you're ready, really slowly, you can begin to turn your head to center, bring your knees to center, shift your hips to center. Pause for a moment in the center and feel the difference. When you're ready, you can shift your hips to the right side of your mat, extend your left leg long, and reach your right knee over to the left side, extending your right arm in line with the shoulder, gazing over those fingertips, twisting to the other side. Feeling this wringing out of the spine on the other side. Resting here about 3 minutes. I'll read one more poem. This is called A Dream of Trees by Mary Oliver. Again. There is a thing in me that dreamed of trees, a quiet house, some green and modest acres, a little way from every troubling town, a little way from factories, schools, and laments. I would have time, I thought, and time to spare, with only streams and birds for company, to build out of my life a few wild stanzas. And then it came to me, that so was death, a little way away from everywhere. There is a thing in me still dreams of trees, but let it go. Homesick for moderation, half the world's artists shrink or fall away. If I find any solution, let him tell it. If any find solution, let him tell it. Meanwhile, I bend my heart toward lamentation, whereas the times implore our true involvement. The blades of every crisis point the way. I would it were not so, but so it is. Whoever made music of a mild day. Take about 5 more breaths. When you're ready, you can gently guide your head to center. Guide your knee to center and shift the hips to center. You can hug the knees in toward the chest when you're ready. Rock gently side to side to massage your lower back. Reach the legs up to the ceiling when you're ready, and the arms. You can shake both of them out, and then when you're ready, just let them rest. Let every muscle of your legs release, let every muscle in your arms release, and allow them to rest in their sockets. The legs in the hip sockets, the arms and the shoulders. Allow anything that doesn't need to be in your body exit through the soles of the feet and the palms of the hands. And allow all the things that do benefit your body to soak in deeper. Allow the full length and width of your back to be on the mat. Allow all your organs to rest into place. And the 4 corners of your torso pinned against the mat. Feeling the feet and hands growing a little warm, maybe tingly with the change in blood flow, just letting that happen. And when you're ready, you can bend the knees, reach for the feet, and come into your happy baby. Reaching for whatever's available, the outside edges of the feet, the toes, the thighs, just opening up the hips toward the ceiling. You can rock side to side. You can take turns straightening each leg or just finding stillness. When you're ready, you can let the soles of your feet find each other and slowly walk the hands up the legs, lowering the outside edges of the feet to your mat, into your reclined bound ankle pose. You can stay here for as long as you'd like. You can stay here for your shavasana, or you can straighten your legs out right away and come into your final resting pose, final shavasana. It is 7 o'clock now. I'm a little bit late, but if you have to go, you can go. If you want to stay for shavasana, then stay. I'll do about 5 minutes. And we'll do a little chakra activation again, too. So allow every ounce of your body to surrender into the mat. Allow your forehead and jaw to all soften. The brain to rest toward the back of the mat. Shoulders resting into the mat, feeling broadness across the collarbones. Your hips are rooted down heavy. So are your legs, your feet, your arms, and your hands. And start to notice a light resting at the very tip of your head. As this light rests here, feel your crown chakra begin to open. The very tip of your head pulsing to the rhythm of this light. Allow this light to sink into your skull now and rest in the center of your mind, just beneath the crown and above the nasal cavity. Feeling your third eye chakra activate, space between the eyebrows and the entire forehead pulsing. Feeling that create softness down your entire face. As the light sinks down further into the mouth, behind the jaw, down the neck, into the throat. Feel the pulsing sensation of your throat. Letting the light sink down even further into the chest, feeling your heart chakra. Feeling that spread across the chest, down the arms, into the hands. The light sinks down through the lungs, past the ribs, into the belly and the solar plexus, about 2 inches above the navel. Feeling the pulsing of your belly. Light sinking down to your sacral chakra, about 2 inches beneath the navel and the sacrum, your lower belly, pulsing. Letting the light sink down further to the base of your spine, at your root chakra, the space between the sit bones. Feeling this pulsing spread down the legs and into the feet. And feeling your entire body pulsing now. We'll scan the chakras, going back up one final time with affirmations. Attention staying on the root chakra. Repeating to yourself, I am safe, secure, and grounded. Moving up to the sacral chakra, the lower belly. Repeating to yourself, I am joyful and creative. Moving up to the solar plexus, 2 inches above the navel in the stomach. Repeat to yourself, I am confident in who I am. I am worthy of good things. Attention moving up to the heart chakra, the center of your chest. Repeating to yourself, I am pure love. Attention coming to the throat chakra. Repeat to yourself, I am honest in my communications with myself and with others. Attention coming to the third eye. Repeating to yourself, I trust my intuition and my inner guide. And finally, attention coming to the crown chakra, the tip of your head, repeating to yourself, I am connected clearly to source energy. Allowing yourself to rest for another few moments in this total activation and cleansing. If you would like to lay here longer, you're welcome to do so. And if you're starting to feel ready to make your way out of this, you can just allow my cues to guide you. On your next inhale, call more air into the body. As you exhale, feel everything about this practice soak into every cell. Begin to wiggle the fingers, the toes, rock the head side to side. Maybe reach the arms overhead for a nice morning stretch. When you're ready, you can make your way to a fetal position on one side. Pause for a moment to honor this primal pose. And when you're ready, you can make your way up to your seat. And we'll meet with our hands at heart center. Thank yourself deeply for your practice this evening. May this carry you into a wonderful and healing night's sleep. And may you bring some of this love to everything you do and to everyone you see. Namaste.